There's a special kind of freedom that comes from riding a lightweight dual sport. It's not about horsepower or top speed. It's about throwing a leg over a bike that'll take you anywhere. Trails, gravel, back roads, even your daily commute, without breaking a sweat or your wallet. And here's the thing. Some of the best off-road machines on the planet aren't the big, heavy adventure bikes everyone talks about. They're the smaller, tougher ones. The ones that can be dropped, scraped, and picked back up, and still get you home with a smile. So today, we're counting down the 11 best lightweight off-road motorcycles you can buy right now. Bikes that balance dirt performance, reliability, and real-world usability better than anything else out there. A few of these are modern legends. A few are total sleepers, and one of them is so surprisingly good, it's making people rethink what a budget dual sport can be. Before we get rolling, make sure to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your riding buddies, because by the end, someone in your group is going to want one of these bikes. Alright, let's start with the one that's proving small displacement doesn't mean small adventure. Number 11. Honda CRF300L Rally. The Honda CRF300L Rally is proof that you don't need a big engine to have a big adventure. It's light, forgiving, and just rugged enough to take you places most riders only dream about. We're talking about 309 pounds wet, a 286cc single-cylinder engine, and that classic Honda reliability that makes it feel bulletproof. This bike is for riders who actually use their machines, the ones who drop them, pick them up, and keep going. It's comfortable on pavement, steady on gravel, and playful on dirt. The Rally trim gives you a bigger fuel tank, better wind protection, and that Dakar-inspired look that makes every ride feel like a mini expedition. Sure, it's not a rocket, but that's the point. You can ride it all day without feeling worn out or nervous. It's the kind of bike that makes you want to keep exploring, even when the sun starts dipping behind the trees. And the best part? It's a Honda. You know it'll start every morning, even after you spent the night camping somewhere with no signal and no backup plan. The next bike on this list, it's lighter, faster, and might just be the most fun you can have on two wheels without breaking any laws. Number 10. Yamaha WR250R. If there's such a thing as a cult classic in the off-road world, it's the Yamaha WR250R. This bike isn't new. In fact, Yamaha stopped producing it a few years ago. But riders can't stop talking about it. Why? Because it was that rare mix of lightweight, street-legal, and seriously capable off-road. It weighs just over 295 pounds wet and runs a high-revving liquid-cooled 250cc engine that's as close to unbreakable as motorcycles get. You could ride it to the trail, thrash it all day in the dirt, and then ride it home. No trailer, no worries. The suspension was one of the best ever put on a dual sport in this class. Fully adjustable, tough, and confidence-inspiring. Riders who owned one still compare every modern 250 to it. Sure, it's not the cheapest used bike you'll find. People hang on to these like family heirlooms. But if you find a clean WR250R for sale, buy it. Because once you do, you'll understand why its legend just won't die. And if you think that's impressive, wait until you see the next bike. Same Japanese reliability, but with a little more muscle where it counts. Number 9. Kawasaki KLX300. If the Yamaha WR250R was the legend, the Kawasaki KLX300 is the one quietly carrying the torch today. It's one of those bikes that doesn't get a ton of hype. No flashy ads, no marketing buzz, yet every rider who owns one swears by it. Why? Because it's light, reliable, and surprisingly capable right out of the box. The 292cc liquid-cooled single makes smooth usable power, perfect for trail riding, backroad exploring, or weekend camping trips. At just over 300 pounds wet, it's easy to control and forgiving when you make mistakes. And the 6-speed gearbox gives it just enough legs for highway stretches between the trails. The suspension's plush without feeling mushy, the seat height is manageable, and the ergonomics just work. It's not intimidating, it's not complicated, it's just a well-built dual sport that you can trust to do exactly what you ask of it. The KLX300 isn't trying to be extreme, it's trying to be right, and for most riders, that's all they'll ever need. Now, if you think the KLX is balanced, the next bike turns up the performance without losing the street manners, and it comes from a company that lives and breathes dirt. Number 8. KTM 350 EXC-F. If the KLX300 is the easygoing explorer, the KTM 350 EXC-F is the mountain goat that's had too much coffee. This bike is razor sharp, built for riders who want race-level performance but still need a plate and a headlight. It's a 350cc fuel-injected single making around 35 horsepower. But the real magic is how it delivers it. Smooth down low, explosive when you twist the throttle. At around 243 pounds wet, the 350 EXC-F feels like it floats through trails. The suspension is top shelf. WP Explore forks and shock that eat up rocks, roots, and ruts like they're nothing. You can hit a whoop section at speed and still have enough control to wave at your friends. Maintenance is more involved than your average dual sport, but that's the trade-off for its kind of precision. It's a race bike you can actually live with, and that's something special. If you're the kind of rider who likes to push a little harder, who wants to feel every ounce of feedback from the trail, the 350 EXC-F is your bike. And coming up next, a machine that proves you don't need Austrian engineering to feel like a hero in the dirt. Number 7. Beta 390 RRS. If KTM is precision and performance, Beta is personality and finesse. The Beta 390 RRS is Italy's answer to the high-strung Austrian Enduros, but with a smoother, friendlier edge. It's powered by a 386cc single that delivers torque everywhere you need it and never feels twitchy or tiring. At around 250 pounds wet, it's incredibly light and agile, yet more forgiving than a full-blown race bike. The suspension soaks up rough terrain without beating you up, and the ergonomics make long trail days surprisingly easy. It feels like it was built by riders, not engineers. Beta has built a cult following because their bikes strike a rare balance. Serious off-road capability with just enough comfort to stay out all day. You can ride this thing up a rocky hill climb, then down the highway to grab a coffee, all without feeling like you're compromising. It's rare, it's refined, and it's seriously underrated. Most riders never even consider Beta, but the ones who do, they never go back. Now, if you think this one's light, wait until you see what comes next, a bike that weighs less than most riders' breakfast. If you're still here, you're definitely one of us, the kind of rider who actually cares about riding, not just specs or social media flexing. So do me a favor, subscribe if you haven't already. We've got new videos every week on real-world bikes, the ones that actually make sense. And hey, share this video with your riding buddies. Half of them are probably hunting for the perfect lightweight dual sport right now. Save them a few hours of scrolling. Also, drop a comment below and tell me which one of these bikes you'd take out for a weekend in the dirt. Alright, let's get back to it. Because the next bike, it might just be the most approachable off-roader ever made, and it's built to outlast you. Number 6. Yamaha XT250. The Yamaha XT250 is proof that you don't need big numbers or bold graphics to have a great time in the dirt. It's about as simple as a modern motorcycle gets. Air-cooled, fuel-injected, and built like a hammer. At just 291 pounds wet, it's one of the lightest dual sports on the market, and that makes it perfect for riders who just want to get out there and explore without overthinking it. The XT's 249cc engine makes modest power, but it delivers it in a way that's smooth, predictable, and easy to handle. You can crawl through technical terrain or cruise along back roads without ever feeling out of control. The seat height is low, the maintenance is minimal, and reliability is legendary. It's a bike that'll start every morning, even if it's been sitting in a shed all winter. Sure, it's not flashy, but the XT250 doesn't care. It's the kind of bike that quietly outlasts trends and just keeps showing up, ready to ride. Next up, same reliability, but with a lot more punch. Number 5. Honda CRF450RL. When people talk about serious dual sports, the Honda CRF450RL always comes up, and for good reason. This thing is built like a race bike that just happens to have a license plate. It shares its DNA with Honda's CRF450R motocross machine, but it's tuned for real world. Smoother throttle, wider gearing, and a little more forgiveness when you're tired and dusty. At 289 pounds wet, it's light, fast, and brutally capable off-road. The 449cc single-cylinder engine delivers a wall of torque, and the suspension feels straight out of a rally bike. Point it at a hill, twist the throttle, and it'll climb it like gravity forgot to show up. What surprises most riders, though, is how refined it feels. On the road, it's stable and surprisingly smooth for a 450. Yes, maintenance is more involved. It's a high-performance machine, not an appliance. But that's the trade-off for a bike that can hammer through trails 1 minute and cruise home the next. The CRF450RL is what happens when Honda builds a trail weapon with manners. And speaking of legends, the next bike on this list is one of the longest-running names in off-road history. Number 4. Suzuki DRZ400S. If motorcycles could talk, the Suzuki DRZ400S would just laugh at how complicated things have gotten. This bike's been around for over 2 decades with barely any changes, and somehow, it's still one of the best lightweight off-road machines you can buy. There's a reason people call it the cockroach of motorcycles. You just can't kill it. It runs a 398cc liquid-cooled single that makes solid, dependable power. Enough to have fun, but not enough to get you in trouble. At around 317 pounds wet, it's light, tough, and ready for anything from fire roads to real technical trails. The suspension is basic but balanced, the gearbox is bulletproof, and it's easy to fix with a few hand tools on the trail. Sure, it's not the latest or the lightest, but it's one of the few bikes that's proven itself on every continent and every kind of terrain for decades. If you want a motorcycle that feels like it could outlast the apocalypse, this is it. And if you think Suzuki's the only one keeping old school reliability alive, wait until you see what Italy's been cooking up next. Number 3. GasGas ES350. The GasGas ES350 might just be the best kept secret in the dual sport world. It's built under the same roof as KTM and Husqvarna, but with a little less price and a little more attitude. The 349cc single-cylinder engine puts out strong, smooth power that feels friendly at low speed, but still snaps when you ask for it. At roughly 250 pounds wet, it's light, flickable, and built to dance through tight trails. The WP suspension is the real deal. Firm when you're charging, plush when you're cruising. What makes the ES350 stand out is how easy it feels. It's got that perfect blend of agility and confidence that makes even rough trails feel fun instead of intimidating. You don't wrestle this bike, you flow with it. It's street legal, trail hungry, and criminally overlooked. Riders who know what it can do are quietly grinning every time someone else buys something heavier. And if you thought this was impressive, the next bike takes everything GasGas does well and pushes it to the limit. Number 2. Husqvarna FE 350S. If the GasGas was the fun, rowdy cousin, the Husqvarna FE 350S is the one that graduated college but still shows up to every weekend ride. It shares its core with the KTM 350 EXC-F. Same engine, same frame, but Husqvarna adds its own touches, a composite subframe, different ergonomics, and slightly softer suspension that makes long rides feel smoother and more controlled. At about 245 pounds wet, it's absurdly light. You can pick it up with one hand after a tip over and be back on the trail in seconds. And once you start moving, it's like the bike disappears beneath you. The power delivery is so clean, so linear, it feels like your right wrist is directly connected to the ground. It's high performance, yes, but it's also refined. You can crawl over rocks 1 minute, blast through a dirt road the next, and still ride it home without feeling beat up. It's not cheap, but what you're paying for here is engineering that works perfectly in the real world. And then there's one more bike, the legend. The one that defines what lightweight off-road is supposed to be. Number 1. KTM 500 EXC-F. If there's one bike that sits on the throne of lightweight off-road performance, it's the KTM 500 EXC-F. This machine is everything riders dream about when they picture the perfect dual sport: light, powerful, precise, and ready for anything. At roughly 250 pounds wet, it feels almost unreal in your hands. The 511cc single makes torque everywhere, from idle to redline, and the throttle response is instant. It's the kind of bike that feels alive. What sets the 500 apart isn't just power, it's control. The chassis feels perfectly balanced, the WP suspension soaks up punishment like it's nothing, and the handling is pure confidence. It's the rare bike that's both a beast on single track and smooth enough for long dual sport rides. Yes, it asks more from you, in maintenance and price and respect, but it gives it all back in performance. This is the benchmark, the gold standard, the one all others are compared to. And the truth is, most riders will never need more than what the 500 EXC-F already delivers: absolute freedom at the lightest weight possible. And that's the list. 11 of the best lightweight off-road motorcycles on the planet. Each one of these bikes proves the same thing. You don't need a huge engine, a touchscreen, or 20 ride modes to have real adventure. What you need is a bike that feels alive beneath you. Something you can pick up, point toward the horizon, and trust to take you there. If this video helped you find your next ride, share it with your riding buddies. Someone in your group is probably hunting for a bike just like one of these. Save them from scrolling through forums for the next 3 nights. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Every week we dive into bikes that actually make sense. The ones built for riders who ride, not just pose. Go ahead and drop a comment if your favorite made the list. And hit that like button if you learned something new today. Ride safe, ride light, and remember, sometimes less really is more. Especially when you're chasing freedom on 2 wheels.